hope we're all keeping well and safe at home, and more importantly, utilizing our time as best as possible. As I keep saying in my videos, I hope we are being able to introspect and think about the way we have conducted our lives in the past years, and there is a lot of learnings that we will take from this forced curfew, if I may say, of staying home. It's ironical, that worldwide it's common for us to declare a holiday when somebody dies. But for the first time in mankind, the first time in the history, we are actually closing down the entire global network to save life. My friends, there's a big message here. It's something that we need to really think about. The way we live our life, the way we conduct things, even our very own diets, the food we eat, which has a direct consequence and bearing on our environment and on the planet at large. Which brings me to the subject that I'm talking about, is about our diet, our food, workouts, etc., etc. I've been reading a lot where people make comments and ask each other questions that, what is the first thing that you're going to do after this lockdown is open? And a large majority, unfortunately, turn around and say that, oh, I'm going to go to my favorite restaurant, or I'm going to go to this Palladium, and I'm going to do this shopping, and I'm going to eat all those lovely things that I've missed out on, and things like that. Wow. Is that really what we have been able to introspect and learn from this shutdown? Or is it only about who created this? Why was it created? Bad man, bad country, ban them, this and that. Is that all we're thinking about? Is it all that we're thinking about is what the share prices are doing, how the stock market is, fuel prices which are now -0 and things like that? What about thinking about ourselves, starting from where we really should? Yeah. Friends, even if you look at a global statistics, and I'm saying this for leading to a certain point here, people who are actually into the bodybuilding, I'm into fitness myself, very, very much into fitness, right? And it has made me think as well, and I've been doing a lot of research on it over the past few days. So barring these few bodybuilders who are just a fraction of a percentage of people, a large majority of people are living normal kind of lives or into fitness, so to speak. When I say normal lives, I don't mean fitness is not normal. I mean who are not working out, who just go to work and come back and all that kind of stuff. What is the food intake that we have? What is that we're looking for? We are all talking about having the champagnes and the caviars and the big, for non-vegetarian steaks and big lobsters and prawns and all that kind of stuff. Wow. Have we sat down and ever thought that where we're going out to these very, very expensive restaurants and buying and consuming these kind of foods, we're actually buying a death wish. We are buying ourselves closer and closer and closer to full-time medication, getting into hospitals and the need for health care. Because all these foods have got a very minuscule health benefit, if any. They have got more health problems than we can even think about. But because we are also now used to or have been in this rat race of I went to this big restaurant at the Taj Mahal Hotel, and I had a big steak, and I had this bottle of champagne and all that. It's all nice and hunky-dory, very nice. Sounds very good to people, but what is it actually doing to yourself? Friends, by no stretch of imagination am I trying to discourage you from enjoying your life and doing whatever you want to do. It's a choice each individual makes. I'm just hoping that all this, where we are actually now fighting for our own lives, individually we are looking at how can we survive this infection. It's such an insignificant thing, but it's not sparing anybody. You, me, or the richest man in the world. The target is the same. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how big a house you have. It doesn't matter how big a car you have. It is targeting each person equally. As simple as that. No religion, no caste, no creed, no color, no nothing. The virus hits you and everybody equally. My contention here is that if this is a learning, all this, admittedly, they will be taking it to the extreme that if you do not have chicken or do not have whatever kind of meats and all that kind of stuff because you're taking life and things, what about vegetation and what about this and that and things? That's like pushing it to a different kind of an extreme, right? Even plants have their own kind of emotion, right? And there are a lot of examples of it. You take two plants, same family of plants, put inside. One you just throw water like that, and the other one you go and talk to and things. The one that you spend time with will obviously bloom. So there are emotions involved, right? But let's not push it to that kind of an extent, right? If you look at the richest man in the world, well, let's stay with India. The richest man in India, and we all know who that family is or who he or she is and things like that. They are vegetarians. When you go to the house, you have the usual dal, roti, chapati, rice, that kind of stuff. You don't have the caviars, and you don't have the rump steaks and sirloin steaks and jumbo prawns and crabs. That's not what their daily diet is. That's not what they crave for. That's not what they want. What makes a difference is, of course, they have the white glove service, they have the noritake sets of dining sets that come out and things. Well, that's fine, right? That's fine. That's not really destroying the earth the planet as much as, consuming the other kind of stuff, apart from the more important fact that it's destroying our own lives. In fitness itself, look at India. People in the in so-called developed countries, first world countries, they turn around and say, oh, look at India, third world country, such a lot of poverty, poor people, they don't eat and they're suffering and all that kind of stuff. What do those rich people have? Hamburgers with a little bit of meat in between there, and the rest is all sort of pickles and all that kind of sauces and mayonnaise and all that, which makes them fatter and fatter and fatter. Is that the kind of food that's good for you? On one hand, they're having all that kind of stuff, and the next thing they're, downing pockets of pills. But you look at this third world nation as people refer to us. Look at the poor man. What does he eat? And this applies for you and me to think as well. What do those people eat? A large quantity of dal, thick rotis, onion, green chili. Do you find them fat? They are ripped, thin and ripped, which is where we spend loads and loads of money to go to gyms to get those six packs. Now they have got six packs naturally. Then somebody, when I was talking about it, says, but yeah, they die, sort of thing. They don't die because essentially of malnutrition. They die because of hygiene, of the conditions they live in. Those things are what needs to be addressed by our nation, but it can only be done when we look at other aspects of life first. This is essentially addressing a large majority of us people here who think by, driving in big limousines and living in massive houses and stuff like that, your social status is big time. I mean, that's such a false way of living. You need you look at, say, the protein requirements, which is basically muscle building and all that. For 100 grams of dal, moong dal that you have, you get around 22 to 24 grams of proteins. The same amount is available in chicken, maybe about 26 grams. The same thing. So why can't you have dal? Why are you going there and having chicken? The same source that's giving you the eggs and whatever else. It's just a point I want you all to think about, my friends. Right? We need to be able to learn correct eating habits, thinking the right way. That just because you have these lavish kind of stuff, tables full of 20 different meals, you're living a healthy life. No, my friends, you're not living a healthy life. You are actually killing yourself and everybody else that you claim to love. It's just something that I thought I'm going to share with you, right? We're all free to make our choices of food, lifestyles, and whatever. It's just a thought I want to leave you with. Till next time, my friends, continue to stay well, stay blessed. Namaste.